You know, every once in a while, a story from the world of finance totally breaks through and tells us something much, much bigger about the world we're living in. Today, we're going to break down one of those stories. It's about a stock market debut that didn't just make headlines, it actually made history, and boy, does it tell us a lot about where we're all heading.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The date is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. Now, it might have seemed like just another day on the stock exchange, but one company's initial public offering, its IPO, was about to send an absolute shockwave through the global markets.
I mean, the way this thing launched was just wow. The moment the company started trading, its share price just exploded, soaring over 30%. Just think about that for a second. If you're an investor who got in early, that's an incredible return in a matter of hours.
And you know what was fueling this surge? A just absolutely mind-blowing amount of cash. The company raised a total of 3.8 billion euros. That's not just a successful IPO, that's the kind of number that makes the entire financial world just stop and stare.
And all that incredible investor demand led to this, a market capitalization of roughly 32.5 billion euros. In simple terms, that's what the market thinks the whole company is worth. Basically, overnight, this company became one of the biggest players in the game.
So yeah, when you put it all together, the money they raised, the final valuation, this wasn't just a big day. Euronext, the exchange where it all happened, confirmed it. This was the single largest defense IPO in history, period.
All right, so who's the company at the center of this financial earthquake? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the firm that got the market's attention in such a huge way.
Meet the Czechoslovakian Group, or CSG for short. They're a defense company based out of Prague, and get this, according to market sources, they are one of the fastest-growing defense companies on the entire planet. They've been expanding like crazy, and this IPO, well, this was their big coming-out party on the world stage.
So what do they actually make? Well, we're talking about the core of modern defense here. They build everything from armored vehicles to essential ammunition, all the way up to really sophisticated electronic warfare systems. This is the kind of stuff that nations are literally betting their security on right now.
And you can bet the company's leadership knew how big this moment was. The chairman, Michel Schröd, he called it a historic milestone. And he specifically pointed to the confidence investors showed. See, this wasn't just a payday. It was the entire global market looking at them and saying, "We believe in you," a massive vote of confidence.
Okay, but a successful company is only half the story. To really get why investors poured billions into CSG, we need to look beyond the balance sheets and check out a world map. Because this whole thing wasn't just about finance. It was being fueled by some powerful geopolitical currents.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why this company and why right now? What is going on in the world that makes a European defense firm one of the hottest investments on the planet?
Well, according to the pros, the answer is a perfect storm of three key factors. First, you've got this huge push inside Europe for what's called military sovereignty. Second, the war in Ukraine has completely rewritten everyone's security priorities. And third, there's this growing feeling that the US defense umbrella, well, it's not a guarantee anymore. That's forcing European nations to really stand on their own 2 feet.
So you take all that, you put it together, and what does this one historic IPO really tell us? Well, it seems to be pointing towards something much bigger, a really fundamental shift in where the smart money is going.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. We're hearing market strategists literally call this a mega trend in the making. And a mega trend, that's not just a temporary fad. It's a deep structural shift that can reshape entire economies for years, maybe even decades.
So at the end of the day, this whole CSG story, it's not really about one company hitting the jackpot. It's more like a symptom, right? A huge flashing signal that the tectonic plates of global investment are shifting right underneath our feet.
Which leaves us with this one final, pretty provocative question. As tensions rise and nations start focusing more and more on their own security, are we witnessing a new era? Is investing in the machinery of defense becoming the new normal for the global economy? That's the billion-dollar question this IPO leaves us all with.